back to my channel. Oh, I am so excited because we hit 100 subs. And I'm so excited about that. I just want to thank you all so much. I'm so excited that our little simming community is growing, and I've just had so much fun being a part of this Sims YouTube community. Everyone here has been so amazing and great, and I'm just loving it. I've met so many amazing people, and it's honestly been the most positive experience. So I just want to thank you all for contributing to this little community, and let's get some more subs, guys. Like, let's keep growing our little simming community, because I think that we have a really cute place here where, oh, I said place weird. Anyway, I can't word sometimes. But I think that we have a really cute little place here. Like, it just, I don't know, I like to think of this as, you know, we come and we talk and we comment, and yeah, I just wanted this to keep on growing and keep being a really nice, positive space. So if you haven't subscribed already, I think that you should. And also, check out my Twitter. There's a really great community over there on the Twitter as well. And on the Twitter, God, I sound old. On Twitter, there's just like a really nice community. So go and check that out as well, guys. Now, this is part 2 of the Tudor Estate. I really want to call it the Tudor because, I don't know, I think it sounds cool. The Tudor Estate. So if it slips out, I'm not an idiot. Well, I mean, I am. But I know that it's Tudor, not Tudor. Just to clarify. Anyway, this is part 2. If you haven't checked out part 1, go and check it out. But we're not going to be talking about this particular build because I don't like doing that. I'm not good at that. What we're going to talk about instead is my manager horror story. So this is, you know, Halloween themed horror story. I'm super creative, and we're going to be talking about an experience that I had a few years ago now with a really awful manager. So let's get started. So first of all, I have a government job, government desk job kind of thing. Well, I work at a call center for the government. And basically, if you're in Australia, I'm a public servant. So anyway, I first started this sort of government job when I was 17. I was really young. I was a part of a program that was designed to get people straight out of school and start them early in the workforce. So I had to have like an interview and all that kind of stuff for this particular job. So I will never forget my interview for this job. I walked into the interview room and I was met with 4 faces. 3 lovely faces and 1 face that honestly, not so lovely. This lady looked like someone had pooped in her pancakes and then put them in front of her. She was nasty looking. She had the biggest stank face I've ever seen. Just bitter, stanky face. She couldn't smile. She was just awful. So I powered through that interview. I tried not to look at her because she just looked so miserable and cranky and awful. And yeah, so anyway, did the interview, flash forward a few months, and I got the job. Yay. Walk into the job on my very first day, and who's the first person that I see? Stank face. I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, this can't be happening. This crazy stanky lady from the interview, and I have to work with her now? No. And that was when I knew, no, I didn't really know I was screwed then, but I was kind of like, oh no, this can't be happening. So, anyway, she introduced herself. I'm not going to say her real name. I'm just going to call her Stankface because it's fitting, and, yeah. So, she introduced herself. She's like, hey, I'm Stankface. And she didn't seem to remember me from the interview, so I didn't say anything because I was like, she didn't seem very impressed in the interview, so I'm just not going to mention it at all. So, yeah, she introduced herself, and to start off with, she was actually all right. And she wasn't the only person in the team. It was her and a few other people. And she was kind of okay to start off with, but, like, she wasn't the nicest person I'd ever met, but she wasn't a stanky, put it that way. So anyway, things were good for a few weeks, and then she started to get nasty. So she would, she never had time for me. She always treated me like, because yes, I was younger, I was 17 and turning 18, she just treated me like like a school kid. And it really frustrated me because I was there to work and I don't have that kind of like attitude where I wanted to bludge off, but she would treat me like that. So, you know, she'd just say things like, oh, look, I know that you're young and you probably just wouldn't understand, but blah, 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 blah. Or, you know, oh, your generation, blah, 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 blah. And just kind of like really unnecessary comments about my generation, which that kind of just irritates me. And as I said, I was there to work and I never bludged off. I never did anything to make her say the things that she said. But she'd just be really stupid about it and be like, she'd be talking to another colleague and then look at me and be like, oh, you're too young, you wouldn't understand. But it's like she'd be talking about what she did on the weekend and it's like, pretty sure that's not hard to understand, but okay, whatever. So she started doing a lot of that, which really irritated me. Then the next thing she started to do was she wouldn't show me how to do certain things. She'd be like, oh, look, you should be learning this, but you're too young and I just don't think that you'd understand. And wouldn't tell me how to do certain, you know, parts of work. So I felt like I was kind of not learning what I should be learning because she was discriminating against me because I was 7, or actually by this time I was 18, because I was 18 and not however old she was. So yeah, that really rubbed me the wrong way. And from there, things got worse. So basically, I was stuck just doing, you know, some very minor, very boring jobs. I kind of did all like the dirty work, like the jobs that everybody else didn't want to do, they'd just give to me because I was just so young and I couldn't handle anything else. Like, that's basically what they said to me. So I was doing like really boring work, and a lot of the time I didn't actually have any work to do. I'd just kind of be sitting there, twiddling my thumbs because there was all this work to be done. They'd complain about how busy they were, but then she wouldn't give me any work to do because I was too young. So I'd just kind of sit there pretending to do work while everyone else around me was like struggling to get their work finished. So that happened. Then she started snapping at me, and this is when things for me really went downhill. So I had to start answering the payroll phone, and they were like, make sure you don't make up any answers. If you don't know the answer to a question, just, you know, call over one of your managers and they'll help you. So I was like, yep, okay, sure. So the very first phone call I ever picked up, this lady had this crazy question that I didn't know the answer to. So I was nervous enough at being my first phone call. I turned around and I said, excuse me, Stankface. And before I even had a chance to say anything else, she turned around and said, I don't have time for you right now. You're just going to have to wait. And then turned back around and started smashing away on her keyboard. And I was like a bit mortified. I was like, oh my God. Like, you know what I mean? First phone call, really, really nervous. And then I get yelled at for asking a question. Ooh, so I had to like make up something and be like, hey, sorry, my manager's stepped away from her desk. I'll get her to call you back. And then I just remembered like sitting there a little bit shell-shocked. I was like, oh my God, like, I just didn't know what to do. I was quite shocked because I thought that like when I'd just come from school and I was like, surely you know, working with grown adults, they're not going to cause drama. They're not going to be stupid. They're not going to be, you know, I don't know. Like, I kind of thought that all that stuff was behind me, but apparently not. If anything, Stankface was more immature than some of the people I went to school with. So, yeah. And she continued to snap at me from there. So if I just say I wanted to go on my lunch break, I'd be like, oh, hey, I'm just going on my lunch break. And she'd just kind of like yell at me and be like, I'm too busy right now. And I'd be like, okay, bye. So I quickly learned not to talk to her. If she was in the middle of something or doing work, just don't talk to her, just leave. So a couple times I would kind of go on my lunch break and I'd be too worried to tell her. So I remember I'd kind of like walk past her desk and wave and just hope that she caught me waving at her. And then I remember so many times I'd come back from lunch and then get yelled at. Where have you been? You didn't tell me where you were going. We didn't know where you were. Blah, 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 blah. And it was like, what do you want from me? So if I interrupted her to tell her I was going on my lunch break, she'd yell at me. If I didn't tell her I was going on my lunch break, she would yell at me. So I decided that just kind of interrupt her, because they did need to know where I was going. So I thought, all right, I'll just start telling her about my lunch breaks. So she kind of stopped snapping at me, but she replaced snapping at me with just completely ignoring me. So I remember this one day I said, hey, stank face, I'm going on my lunch break and I'm going to be an hour and a half. And she kind of like, she nodded. When I came back from my lunch break, the entire team was like, Jess, where have you been? Oh my God, what's going on? We didn't know where you were. We were so worried about you. And I was like, but I told Stankface I was going on my lunch break. I said I'd be an hour and a half. And she sat there, she's like, oh, I didn't hear you say that. I don't think you said that. And I was like, you like nodded at me when I said that. Oh, my bad. Like, what? After, you know, everyone had this huge panic for no reason. It's just a joke now. And she did stuff like that all the time. She would, as I said, ignore what I was saying and then pretend that I never told her. Or her favorite thing was to say, oh, you've been away from your desk a lot today. And it's like, no, I just went to the toilet and I did tell you, but you didn't listen. My favorite one was I had to do some photocopying. I basically had to photocopy like 3 files worth of stuff, and the pieces of paper had staples, so I had to like unstaple it, and some of it was double-sided, and it sounds like a basic job and it's simple, but it takes forever. So I had to do all this photocopying, and she told me, Stankface told me, make sure you go to the other end of the office to the printer that nobody uses so that you don't clog up the printer that everybody uses. And I said, yep, sure. So I was gone for about 7 hours. Like, that's legit how long it took me to do the photocopying. And I was at the other end of the office, and I came back at the end of the day when I had finished my job, and she looked at me in the eye and said, you haven't been working very much today. You haven't been at your desk nearly all day. And I was like, I just looked at her and I was like, you told me to do the photocopying, remember? And then she was like, oh yeah, ha. What? Don't get mad, like, but she got mad at me about it. That's what annoyed me. She got mad at me about it. And I was like, no. What? So I ended up disliking her so much, because she'd just do that stuff to me all the time. She would snap at me all the time and just basically try and get me into trouble for just really stupid things. So what ended up happening was the manager above Stankface left and we got a different manager. Now, this particular dude, he was like, what am I going to call him? I'm just going to call him pushover dude. He was a nice enough guy, but he was a massive pushover. And I think that Stankface knew that. So she would manipulate him a lot. And she would manipulate pushover dude to get me into trouble. So what she would do now is, if I went on a lunch break and Stankface ignored me, instead of when I came back, instead of being like, oh, you didn't tell me you're going on your break, she would just go and tell pushover manager, hey, Jess has been gone for half an hour and we don't know where she is. And then he would get cranky at me. So she kind of changed her plan a little bit, and I'd be like, but I told people that I was going, and he'd be like, yeah, well, you know, maybe you just need to tell people louder. So she changed her like plan a little bit there and ended up getting pushover manager on her side. So then it would be the two of them ganging up on me. And as I said, like, he would listen to Stankface because Stankface was older than me, and I think she was more intimidating than me. So he was the kind of person who just didn't like conflict, and the kind of person who would just kind of listen to Stankface because, like, she would cause a bigger scene and he didn't want any conflict. So it was just easier to just listen to her. So that's when things started to get really, really bad, because I had two of them ganging up against me. And I was very, submissive, because I think I was being bullied. I didn't have any confidence, and I kind of just, never did anything about it. So I kind of, in a way, I let it happen because I felt like no one was going to believe me, no one cared, you know, I had everybody against me, and I started to think, you know, maybe it's my fault that I'm being bullied, maybe, I don't know. So what ended up happening was I had this performance review, and basically the whole thing was where pushover manager was just telling me how horrible I was. Like, you never do this and you never do that, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know what happened, but I snapped and I was like, no. And I told him how it was. I was like, you never listen to me. You only ever listen to Stankface. You know, everything she's saying to you, it's not true, and blah, 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 blah. And he was like, oh, okay, well, you know, that's not fair then if that's what's really happening, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, okay, well, let's, he decided that he would move my desk, because I used to have to sit next to Stankface, so he moved me into, like, a different area, and he was like, you don't, like, I now reported to him instead. And things did get better for a little bit when I got away from Stankface, because she didn't have, like, any influence on me or anything. But still, like, she would still try and get me into trouble for really stupid stuff. And, she would, like, I don't know how to explain it. She would just try and start crap for no reason. And the worst thing she ever did to me was she convinced, pushover boss to not let me take a new job. So I hated working there and I wanted to get a new job. So I had applied for this new job and I actually was successful. And Stankface basically convinced pushover manager that we were too busy and there is no way that I could take the job, because they just couldn't handle, you know, they couldn't handle the work without me. So, fine, fair enough. 2 weeks after I was denied my new job, another girl in the team, who was like Stankface's little pet, got a new job, and she was allowed to take it. Not only was she allowed to take it, Stankface walked around the office at the top of her lungs being like, oh, isn't it amazing? So-and-so just got this new job. I'm so proud of her. And was just like rubbing it in my face that she got a new job and I didn't. And I was like, you have to be kidding me. I was so pissed off. Like, oh, man. So, what ended up happening was I ended up applying for another job. And once again, I got that job. And pushover manager was like, look, you know, I know that you want to leave, and I can't deny you this job a second time. I can't say no to you getting a different job anymore. I have to let you have this job. You know, I'm really proud of you, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, that was nice of him. Later on, I found out that he didn't want me to take the second job. He tried to say, no, we can't let her go for the second job. And the manager above him said, no, you have to let her go. So he, like, lied to me about that. Anyway, I ended up getting a new job, and I still work at that new job, and the place that I am in now is amazing. Such a better team. So, like, the people are nicer, everything about it is just better. So I did get out of that situation, and it was, I feel like, yeah, I don't know, maybe it was like a little bit worse than what I made it sound out. Like, it's hard to explain what happened. I don't know. I just find it a little bit hard to explain. But anyway, I guess my kind of point is that you don't deserve to be bullied. And if you are being bullied, then speak up and do something about it, because don't be like me. Don't think that you deserve it, and don't let people treat you that way, because you do not deserve it at all. So if you think that you're being treated unfairly, stand up for yourself and do something about it. There's always someone out there willing to help you, and you just have to find that person. And yeah, I would hate for anyone else to be in the situation that I was in, where you honestly think that you deserve to be bullied, where you think that something must be wrong with yourself that, you know, people treat you that way, and that's just not true at all. When I left payroll, I was I was quite unhappy, and I had no confidence in myself, And I didn't believe in myself. And fortunately, I actually ended up joining the gym, and that gave me a lot of my confidence back. And joining the gym was like one of the best things I've ever done. But yeah, just be confident in yourself, believe in yourself, and don't let anyone treat you like crap. And don't let anyone make you think that you deserve to be treated like crap. So yeah, that's kind of, I guess, my little message from that whole story. And yeah, I just really hope that none of you guys are in that situation. And if you are, I really hope that you can find a way to get out of it. So that's my manager horror story. I hope that it was maybe not enjoyable, but I hope that it was, I don't know. I hope that it wasn't boring, let's put it that way. So we have a little bit of time left, and we're actually doing a room that I can talk about because I love this room. This is one of my favourite bedrooms I have ever done. It is a boys' bedroom, obviously, and it is just a super cluttered, super messy boys' bedroom. I imagine that this guy is like super into sports and a little bit into like, maybe he's in like a band, like plays guitar or something in a band, or drums or something, I don't know. But yeah, he has just this really cluttered, messy bedroom, but he has like all of his like awards everywhere because he's like super sporty. And yeah, I really like the way that this bedroom turned out. And I put that, I put the Parenthood rug in, the one where it has like the clutter all over the floor. And I also put in that laundry clutter. But the problem with that laundry clutter is that Sims can't like walk around it. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm done talking about the build now. What else can I say? Ooh, look, I'm just gonna go because I don't have anything else to say. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this speed build. You know, if you want to check out the rest of my channel, I do more stuff like this, so that would be awesome. I'd love it if you could subscribe, come check me out on Twitter, be a part of the Jess Plays fam. Yeah, leave a comment down below or something. I don't know, guys. Just join in the Jess Plays fam and join in with the rest of us cool kids. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. So yeah, guys, I do daily uploads as well, so check back tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all in my next video. Goodbye.